Come back and thank you for staying with us. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State. By-election victory reflects growing support for Tinubu, Wike says. And then on to Enugu State, ADC opposes 150 million naira campaign advertisement fee. And then on to Kano State, Kwakwanso laments government's defection to APC. And on FCT polls, APC says elections was test run for 2027. And Wike says that election is won through performance, not alleged home invasion. El-Rufai files 1 billion naira suit against ICPC. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events, coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Ifastech TV platform. You can connect on our ATN socials by subscribing, like and share Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a regular on Open Conversation. He is a political analyst. He is also a member of the Rivers State APC State Executive Council, and he is the leader of ICU Group. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome.
Good morning, and good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has described the outcome of the Rivers State by-election as a reflection of growing political alignment in support of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Reacting to the results, Wike said the performance of the All Progressive Congress demonstrates increasingly acceptance of the federal government's renewed hope agenda within the state. According to the former Rivers State governor, the election outcome represents the success of what he termed a rainbow coalition made up of diverse political stakeholders working towards shared political objectives. He noted that the collaboration cuts across party lines, signaling a shift in the state's political dynamics. Wike added that the by-election results highlight emerging cross-party cooperation that could influence future electoral contests in Rivers State and beyond. He maintained that the development underscores changing political realities as alliances continue to reshape the state's political landscape ahead of upcoming elections. Chizi, you were a very active participant in the last River State Assembly by-elections.
Very well.
I'm interested to know, how did the APC candidate fare, and would you say the Rainbow Coalition had a good outing?
Very well. It was obvious, and I said even before the election that if you notice, now every day we learn, whether we like it or yes, that politics is local, and then if you want the president to win, or you want the governor to win, or you want the chairman to win, the people you also choose at different units matters a lot. The candidates you bring on board. If you bring an acceptable candidate and a candidate that is a product of discussion, then you will excel more. But if you have candidates that you feel can be imposed, and then the people have not accepted them, of course you begin to see certain dynamics. It may take you extra measure to be able to win that election. But in the case of what happened in last Saturday by-election, it was very obvious that all the political parties, when you say political parties, it's people that are in the political parties. You see people who will come out to say, yes, for this person, we should allow the person win. And then, of course, I have called him, I've said here that Napoleon Okaliwe won. It was landslide. You could see everybody. You could see, let me not use the word everybody, because, of course, you can't say there were other political parties. Apart from even political parties, there are people who no matter what you do, they won't come out for elections. That's what I mean. It can't be everybody. But if you notice the amount of people that came out for that election, and if you mention that were interested, you will almost think it's a presidential election. And of course, if Wike has said that is a signal to what's going to happen, a growing support for Tinubu, you will not, he's not far from the truth. I tell people that the handler of your affairs in each of the units matters a lot. Yes, Wike is a movement. It's not Yes Wike as in the Yes Wike, It's a movement, and a lot of people have come together to say, where are we going? And Wike has some strategy that he adopts. Some persons would have just stayed in Abuja or stayed anywhere and announced that this is the kind we want. No, Wike will never do that. Wike will ask people around to choose who will represent them. And when they choose these persons, like I told you, if you go to Kano constituency 2, you will agree with me that the woman who won was actually the wife of the late, and of course,
assembly member.
Yes, and that man didn't stay up to 2 months, in the assembly before he was called home. But all of a sudden, the people said, no, this guy came, and then we didn't experience something. Let's allow the widow of that guy to go in to represent him. And so it was like a unanimous agreement between the cool tendencies. And so you could see that a lot of people are coming close to that support. River State has drastically changed from the normal PDP destined to this thing. But again, I know why. The reason is simple. Party does not exist on itself. Party exists because of people. That's structure. So it is the people who move the party. So if you go to party A, it is not the party A per se that will win the election. After all, parties don't go to. When you say parties, you're talking about the people that make up the party. So you can see that all the gladiators. And the question is, if you go to local government and wards, ask of those who will make things happen. And then you begin to know where are they? Those who can even alter the situation are still sitting on the bench, also considering whether they should go here or there. So you see that it's like they've captured the Tinubu via Wike has captured the minds of people via the, what else would we have expected in River State? River State has more than 32 rivers indigene appointed at the federal level. And the people that are appointed are not just, they are grassroots politicians who are appointed. Who would just say, if I'm appointed, for instance, and I go back to my locals and I said, do you want me to be removed from government? That's the selling point. Because the Tinubu they see is that person that represents them. And so that's what happened in Rivers State. It was just obvious. There is nothing that could have happened otherwise. I would have been shocked, except God, of course. But nothing else would have happened otherwise. What happened is reality.
Now, if this, the FCT minister is saying that it's reflecting a growing support for President Tinubu ahead of 2027, correct?
Yeah.
Now, I am also thinking inwards, because it appears that everybody is just focusing on President Bola Tinubu ahead of 2027. Now, I'm looking at the Guber race, how it's going to play out in Rivers State. How is PDP and APC reconcile their interests, even though it's a rainbow coalition? How is it going to, how are these interests going to be reconciled? Because when we talk of rainbow coalition, it's majorly between these two political parties. Yes, we have speckles of Labour Party and some other parties who are part of the rainbow coalition, but we know that it's majorly between the APC and PDP. How are they going to reconcile their interests come 2027? You're a member of the coalition, aren't you?
Yes, of
the
course.
rainbow coalition.
Yes, of course.
So now, how is your coalition that you're a member of going to reconcile interests in 2027?
First, you will note that we are just going to have one governor. That we know. And that because we're going to have one governor, it's going to be one individual that will represent that interest. Now, on which platform will that person run will be based purely on the decision of the coalition. Look at what happened in the last council election, the local government election in Rivers State. In some local government, they came down to say, you fly under APC. Some local government went and said, no, you fly under PDP. I mean, it's just a product of the decision. But what you will never have, you will not have a PDP and an APC running in that election. No, you won't. And that's because, do you know a party actually decide to support a candidate and not run for that particular position? It's democratic. As long as the product...
I think that played out these council polls.
It does.
In FCT, where two PDP candidates stepped down for APC candidate. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like the Rainbow Coalition is also gradually building in the FCT for that to have happened anyway.
No. The way the Rainbow Coalition is in, there are two states. I'm using the word state because FCT has the semblance of a state. The only difference being that their governor is now a minister that's not elected. But it has the semblance of a state. It's controlled, there's a territory called the FCT. Now, this Rainbow Coalition is fierce in these two states, and that's because of the person of Nyesom, he's the FCT minister, who swore there as FCT minister, and of course his guys are here in Rivers State, and so that's actually what is happening. So you will see that, like I said, it's not undemocratic for a political party to concede to another political party if you have found somebody who is more qualified, who you will win the election. Because if you don't have somebody who you used to win the election, then there is a problem. Now, if you have a Rainbow Coalition and you have a Chizi or Masla as your Guba, for instance, and then the other aspirants who are aspiring to go for that same political position, all of us, whether we like it or yes, sometimes it is just the pride of being in a divide that allows you run. You already know that it is difficult to beat this person at the pool. So in Rivers State own, it's a little bit very dicey. For us, we know what will happen. Because dicey here, because we are sitting down to look at a committee has been constituted already in Rivers State that's looking at who should go. Who is exempted in that who should go, in this 2027. Because we must decide who should go. It's going to be a product of, men have grown. That's the problem. That's the problem that, not trying to go back to history, that's the problem that sin had. Those who were for sin, as in sin, the other unrepentant sin, not now, we were still asking for. But the problem they had was that they have not clearly defined the difference between a man coming out to say, I'm going to run for this election and have his boys around to support him in an election, or versus a man who the camp has said you should go. That's a different ballgame. You know, the man who the house has said come and go is a peer group leader, is a peer leader. And a peer leadership, like I've said, is the most critical and hardest leadership you can ever find, because it's no longer, there comes a time where you grow in politics, as I am now. There are persons in politics that all they care in life is not who goes for president, not who goes for governor or assembly, just councillor. They want to know, and if you don't involve them in who goes for councillor, you will shock how in the world another person will win, or it will become very difficult to run. But if I don't know a governor by name, and he does not know me, I don't know his this thing, I want to work for him, because boys have grown now. We have passed that level where you come and you can tell us, okay, let's vote for Tinubu, yes, but for the governor, you have to convince us why we need to vote for this person, and the person has to talk to all of us. And when the person talks to all of us, because all of us will now begin to hold the person by the promises he made individually. Because you see, the governorship or the chairmanship is the management of the aggregated agreements, those agreements that you manage. And so when you begin to manage those agreements, that's why we say agreement is agreement. People don't understand. You manage agreement. And part of the agreement may be very positive as in public, may also be reduced to individual. For instance, I have what it takes to run for governor. Now, in spite of that, and I have the right to also contest, right? There is no, I have met all the qualification that is required to contest for Cuba, and I wanted to contest, and I have a right, and I'm qualified to contest. And because we don't have two persons as governor, somebody must have to step down. So in stepping down, you must tell me, just like what it takes in the business. Well, in business, what you call profit in business is what politicians call interest in politics. You must accommodate my interests. There are other sub-regions that I would either come in as person or nominate persons, because in trying to run for this governor, I also have an ideology that I want to put into government. So I must be given room to be able to share that. So when you begin to see people say, oh, my interest is not, and then people say, is it about your interest? The entire state interest is at the aggregation of individual interest. What I mean, like, yes. And so they won't understand, what is that my interest? What am I saying this interest? Why do I want this interest? There are policies that I know that if we run, will grow the economy of the state. That if I don't have an opportunity of talking to you, or if you're not accommodating it, I will not let you. Because I believe that in that my cycle, that if you do, it will advance the politics and the economy and the security of the states. And that's exactly what is happening. And so those who are outside politics, especially some of us who are very gullible, who see sentiment. You know, there are persons that, oh, Lauritia's friend is their friend. Lauritia's enemy must be their enemy. So in spite of all, you just don't have to greet this person because it's so as soon as Lauritia says, oh, I don't like this person, some enemies of Lauritia will say, oh, it's because of something, so I'm going to work for this person, without asking questions. What are the questions? What are the things that as you grow in this game that we are, like I've told you, since I graduated, even as undergraduate, I went to study politics not by accident. I went to study politics because I knew that I was going to be a politician, and I did train in politics. So I've been in politics for more than 30-something years. Yes, from 1990, it's 36 years as a teenager till today. And so you can't come and tell me that in practice, that what I know that happens, that grows, and this growth signals happen everywhere in the world. We know of, if you go to United States of America, for instance, you know that the richest man, one of the richest men in the world, what's his name again, supported Trump.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk supported Trump. But Elon Musk had the president that was there. He wasn't supporting the president because he had his own interest. And as soon as he was made, Trump won the election, he understood that Elon Musk was always heading certain things, the inner kitchen, to be able to do something, because he has his own interest to advance. And that's it. And what is that interest? That interest is a business interest that will advance the United States in his thinking. And that's why he supported him. So anywhere in the world, it's only when we come here, we begin to reduce it to the bias we have around somebody.
So you think that regardless of all that has played out, the Rainbow Coalition, you think that the APC and the PDP will bring out a consensus candidate?
We will bring out a consensus candidate, yes, of course.
That will contest either under APC or under PDP?
Other PDP, yes.
So it's going to be the coalition candidate versus other parties?
Other parties.
Not APC versus PDP and other parties?
No, it's a coalition. And let me even tell you, for us, the positive aspect of the coalition, the danger of the coalition. You know, while you were mentioning some of the people you think are little members of the coalition, you tactically, I know it's not innocently, you tactically removed ADC. But I can tell you that in Rivers State, the real ADC are with us. Those who are ADC members are with us. As I talk with you, I don't even know who is. The ADC chairman of Ikure local government and the secretary are with us. I'm talking about the Ikure government. You see, when I'm talking for the place of authority, so that I don't talk about ordinary local government. In Ikure government, for instance, the Labour parties, they are with us. We don't even find another political party. We don't even see another political party. We may be seeing some, little people who are not happy with the system, but not as structure. Because it doesn't matter what you argue. You know, when we were all talking about, you agree with me then, when we were all talking about those who will go to court to ask that the assembly who they said, decamped, that they decamped. I told you that the first people that should go to courts to say they decamped from the left, they resigned, was the PDP. And the people who say they came and registered is the APC. So it doesn't matter how much you shout here. The law does not recognize your voice. They want to see that. So if you say, okay, for instance, in PDP, those who will sign the agent the result as the agents of the political party, the ADC, the Labour Party, the Accord Party, the APC, and the PDP are together. You can't, no matter what remember that part of what affected the obedient movement then was that though they had the momentum to shout, there were no structure
at the grassroots level.
I call them the signature authorities.
Okay.
The signature authorities. Not around unit. Let me tell you, I'm not saying rigging is good, but if you want to rig in a unit, the only reason why you can't rig in a unit is if the political parties agents says no. You can't. But if they agree, you can be shouting that you are ADC, you are PDP, you are that. The people who have the signature authority and who the court will ask for evidence will be these persons.
All right.
And you don't have them. So what they say is correct is correct.
All right. Moving on. African Democratic Congress has rejected the 150 million naira advertising permit fee imposed by the Enugu state government ahead of the 2026 and 2027 elections, describing the directive as anti-democratic. The fee, introduced by the Enugu State Structures for Signage and Advertisement Agency, requires political parties and candidates to obtain approval before deploying campaign materials or branding vehicles. Reacting to the development, ADC Chairman for Igbo Eze South and Chairman of Chairmen in Enugu North Senatorial Zone, Comrade Ugu Izuchukwu, alleged that the policy was designed to suppress opposition parties. He accused the administration of Governor Peter Mba of attempting to dominate the public advertising spaces while financially excluding rival political groups from participating effectively in the electoral process. Izuchukwu insisted that the party would challenge the policy in court, maintaining that opposition parties would not be intimidated or forced out of the political space. He argued that imposing such a high fee undermines democratic participation and vowed that the ADC would pursue all legal options to halt the directive.
I like the word. There are 3 words I'm going to take out to talk about.
All right.
First, I'm starting from the last. They said they were going to they are going to take advantage of all legal actions, you know, and I like that. Of course, it is the right of a body or persons to question or to interrogate whatever policies that are made in court. And of course, the court is there to interpret it. Then the second one is that they say it's undemocratic. The word undemocratic, you know, when something is undemocratic, something that happened, I would have, if I was the handler, and God forbid that I'm the handler of APCC image, if I was the handler of the APCC image, now it's first to find out, one thing I like coming to this studio, especially when you, Larisha, is anchoring it, is that even though sometimes you come here, you go and do research on even the constitutionalities of such things. And what we do here is we look at the sentiment instead of looking at the constitutionalities of that thing. This thing is not actually a new law. The only problem we have in it is the timing that it was invoked, announced rather. Now, when you announce certain things, when people are used to not doing this, and then you come back and then finally want to lift it up, it looks like it becomes suspicious because of what is happening. It is not because you know that as a journalist, that I wore a cap here. I don't want to say that. I wore a cap here. And you didn't let me fly the cap. And the reason is simple. Because if I needed to fly the cap, they needed to pay for that advert. So, and it is lawful. It is what is there, isn't it? In branding, in everything branding, it is the law of this land that pay for branding, including the religious bodies, the churches, and all of that. But because of what I call ludicrous creation, when people feel that I don't say this so that, you know, people will say, I will not stop the church, I will not ask the church to pay so that I'm not offending God. No, you're offending God, not asking them to pay, because that is law. Right? Now, when you invoke it and say no, they will say, oh no, it's targeted at eliminating the churches or the Muslims and all of that. These are, a time came when even this El-Rufai, you know, sometimes said no, that he would not want the churches to, they are be coming out loud in the public and stopping the public. And the church was crying loudly about it. I was on there. And I said, let's get it right. Do we have sound pollution? Do we have law against that? Is your freedom, does your freedom not stop at the other person's freedom? Right? So why must it be loud? Are you preaching to this person or are you preaching to those who came to church? The question will be, was there in law? Because when you want to begin to do it, so but these persons in ADC here coming down to Enugu, in ADC here, what they've said, the timing is purely wrong. The timing is wrong. Why is the timing, or it's not wrong? Let me not use the word wrong. It's suspicious. Right. If not, that thing is in the law. So if you go to court, the people go back to court to say this was what it takes.
I don't think that ADC in this instance is opposing payment for the campaign advertisement fee. I don't think they are opposing that fee.
Okay.
However, what they are opposing is the amount of 150 million naira.
That's what I'm saying. Now let me.
The amount is at the discretion of the government.
I want to say
there is no law that says campaign fee is 150 million naira. It is at the discretion of the government. Now, why would the government impose such amounts? There are parties, there are other parties that will not be able, but will not be able to afford that particular amount. So, if ADC is claiming political intimidation using the power of the state, say probably they are not too far from it, because now they are actually being, you know, cowed into a corner. Smaller political parties will no longer be able to campaign. So you now have a candidate who cannot campaign. So how is the person even going to, how does the person stand a fighting chance?
Okay. Now, Larisha, let me say this thing. You used two words. I'm being careful at picking these things.
Yes.
First, he considered to the fact that it's at the discretion of the state government to announce. Now, when something is at by discretion, that means it becomes legal. Now, the only thing pay me, but as a political, that act, because I want to talk about the statistics. That means the three senatorial candidates include the political party to now be another argument is that to be this for every word and on every word that you want to pay, government that you want to pay, you should pay 3 million. You begin
How about that?
okay. Now let me.
How about smaller parties that cannot even afford 20 million naira?
Okay, let me.
And they still want to run elections. Now, secondly, also talked about when you made the statement, who said that elections must be won through billboards, that you create your billboards in the mind of the people. How do you explain that to the rural people who need to vote and they need the picture of the person to vote?
Can I? Okay, let me start from this last one. Is there any ballot that you have seen the picture of anybody on the ballot? Not even the name of the person. What you see on the ballot is the party logo. Do you know that? There are no pictures of anybody. It is the party logo that you see on the ballot paper. Now, but let me remove that word. There is no party. We do not have bigger or smaller political party. What we have are parties. Now it is you, the individuals in your political party, that have made your party small or big. No wonder the law allows for INEC to deregister certain political party at a point. Because funding of politics, funding of political parties or political activities is something you have to be careful with. It's a huge expense, and I can tell anybody that, like I told them, that especially in 2027 in Rivers State, that we are going to have an expensive and extensive campaign. Expensive, extensive, because if I have to come to this studio, for instance, I have to pay my transport. If you look at those units of this, it costs money. Right. Now, if you know ADC, the quote-unquote ADC, where was ADC could have been likened to a smaller party months before, is it now? But right now, you're beginning to see that they're beginning to gather certain paper momentum, you know, in their course. People are beginning to talk about ADC the same way people talked about the Labour Party. So it looks like it's individuals. Now, if you know that you can't even do anything, don't even go to a political party and begin. What are you doing there when you can't run? Because you must move from one political place to the other. You need to design your own to be able to do that. But I can agree with you that 150 million, not because I'm an APC person, I agree with them that 150 million will be too big, especially for even the APC. Even the APC, I'm not even talking about that. I don't know why people think that in APC we still contribute money to run an election. So it's not like somebody brings money from anywhere. We still contribute money to run election. So even in APC, look, in Rivers State, just 2 months ago, I was on this studio where I told you that if they do anything before the by-election, that we are going to take somebody from another political party and win the election. It's not about the APC. It's about the people who have decided to do such things. But I'm also asking the Enugu State Governor, and then they of course, is going to go back to the House, that they should reconsider that amount. Not because it is not lawful, not because it's not right, but because so that people don't use it as an excuse to say that that is the reason why they didn't win.
Because I was actually going there. If the governor, Governor Peter Mba is not scared of, going to the polls with opposition, I mean, make it accessible. Make the campaigns accessible. Let everybody test their popularity. If you are doing well, if you have played your politics right, and you know that you are the choice of the masses, throw the ballot open, throw the ring open.
You should pay their money.
Not paying their money, but when sitting governors use executive power to frustrate,
to raise funds for the state.
What is raising funds for the state? There are 1,001 ways to raise funds for the state. 150 million naira.
Part of the
150. So how come? Because now this is advertisement fee. How come companies are not paying 150 million naira? How come churches are not paying 150 million naira advertisement fee? But then one would say to a large extent, because it's politics, and like you said, they have to pay people to sweep those dirts and all of that. Last time I checked, those people are already in the payroll of the government.
Yes, even they are in the payroll.
Last time I checked, they are in their salaries are already budgeted for.
Yes.
Last time I checked, those salaries are approved by the State House of Assembly.
Sure.
Very well. So when you try to bring in the campaign advertisement fee as reason for generating that fund to pay those salaries, one would say that those salaries were approved of as at January, or December for most states. But what I am looking at is, if these governors are not afraid, apart from joining the popular political party, if they are not afraid and they feel that they have that popularity, and they are going to win because the people love them and they are the choice of the people, why not make it accessible? In the sense that, why not make the campaign advertisement fee reasonable for smaller political parties to be able to afford it? 150 million naira campaign advertisement fee automatically, without saying do not campaign, has already put a lien on certain political parties from even thinking of campaigning.
Loretta, I am listening with you with a studied view. Now, you've said something. Thank God you're using the right word, the budget of the state. The last time you checked, they already had approved budget, for January. The last time you checked, they paid them.
No, I said the budget of the state was approved.
Approved. So
January. Not that it's approved monthly.
No.
That will sort out salaries.
I said they approved. It's a yearly budget now. They approved.
Yeah. Right.
Last is approval, and then the world budget is anticipatory income and expenditure. Anticipatory. That means that certain things will be, there are certain ways they want to get the money. There are certain ways they want to look at, including how to get money in November. So part of how they to get money in February is the announcement of this bill. That is projection. When you begin to project budget, that when you hear a state says their budget is 500 million, for instance, they have allocation, they have this, they have this, they even have a projected income. And most of those income, sometimes you see that along the way, that those income, they expected, one or two things happen to them. So I think that in their projection, it's just the implementation time. That in their projection, they have said, okay, maybe as we are going to run an election, we are going to put 150 million to be able to pay these persons. We are going to do this one to be able to do this one. Because it increases their workload. Whether you like it or yes, it increases the workload. And I can tell you that during this, I'm talking to the media, and I'm talking about media, because we're talking about the media. In this position, the amount of money I will pay in coming to announce birthday, chieftaincy, it's not the same amount of money you come to announce when you want to campaign. We know that. So because it is a period of time. Anybody who says that his political party cannot pay 150 million and that's the reason why they don't campaign, just know that the person does not want to campaign at all. The person is not ready for being a governor. There is no state in Nigeria where somebody in the world where somebody can come to campaign as governor without the minimum of, in fact, thank you. Even the electoral law of Nigeria allows a certain amount of money, not less than 5 billion for the governorship. 5 billion. So because they know that it's expensive, they know what, I'm not telling you to come and, the journalists to come and bill us unnecessarily, but I'm saying that they know.
Oh yes, you know that.
They know that you're going to pay agents.
If it's actually, if 150 million naira campaign advertisement fee, it's okay, like you have said.
Yes.
Then I think it's time that we should also review.
There is a time crier in the village that I use.
Don't worry, it's going to go round because
no, the
media houses.
I use the time crier.
Us will also review payments.
My mother is not watching this, my mother is not watching, so I use time crier. I can use time crier. It's not a problem. But let me beg the state to allow them. There's something I call the idiosyncrasy of policies that allows you to say, okay, for the social welfare, for those handicapped political parties that cannot run election, that are waiting to for one excuse or the other. That a time came in River State where we said, okay, I'm going to pay for APC. Then APC, he told us, I'm going to pay for Abesimakas Stadium. Come and use it. I will pay. Because that Abesimakas Stadium, 60,000 persons will sit as if you have 4 persons. So you need to. So he said he's going to pay for us. We said don't pay. It's okay. Take free. Go there and host your campaign and see whether you have people. So so sometimes you allow these people who are just crying to say that they've rigged the election. We are already seeing they won't even contest election in 2027. So allow them.
Why do you say they won't contest election?
Because the person who is chairman and secretary are the ones who came by coup, not by the process, and they're in court.
All right. Let's not preempt the outcome of the court. But then we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll go to Kano State, where Rabiu Musa Pokwanso laments the defection of the government, Kano State government, to the APC. Do not go away. received into the ruling party. Also, the caucus
happened. It's not saying something that is not that is have happened that we do not know. And that is a movement, is not a political. So he has not left Conquest here for a political party, because for me, on a movement is that
public
domain, and so I can't discuss that deeply. It will take only the, but I can say that if I am in the shoe of the Kwankwaso, but don't also forget that if you look at stories, before now, the first person that we thought that was even going to the APC was Kwankwaso. So if you notice that he was a person who had done that like certain times, and
had certain closed-door meetings.
Came up with certain
statements.
Not only statements, he came with how do I use that word for, so that I don't be hard on anybody. He came with certain conditions.
Okay.
Certain conditions, and some of us suspect that part of those conditions was why Gandhi had to resign as national. So he couldn't follow up with that. Maybe he may have also had done. If you notice, that meeting was such that even the office of the vice president was beginning to be suspicious about certain things. If you notice, and then of course the president will have to look at those variables. So at that point you were going through that discussion. Chances are that you may have also had opened up the governor for a discussion that would protect his interest. And so the man would have felt, oh, sir, you have taken me to this, you have gone this far, I can't go back again. It's possible. Because until this man decamped, some of us were thinking that it was going to be Kwankwaso coming with all of them, to the APC. But it looks like there are personal interests conditions that were not met. And if you look at the power of Kwankwaso, yes, you may have delivered Kano, but check closely and see the history of Kano politics. it's pretty difficult for you to see Kano stay in a particular district for a very long time. They have a way of changing in during the time of the MPN, UPN. They were in another political party. Kano was another political party. You saw that even Kwankwaso lost the first term to his commissioner, right? Who was to his commissioner, and after 8 years came back, reclaimed the mandate, and then his deputy took over. And then he has to go. So he has gone from the PDP to the APC and to his own political party. So it looks like there is something that's constant, which is his own personal ambition, which he has to check. Whereas this young man may have also been very hard on that to say, okay, this place cannot work. Let's still have this. It happens. There are so many. I'm not speaking for the state government. I'm not there. Like I said, I have to be careful with their internal dynamics. If it's Rivers, I will speak with authority. But in that place, we must also understand that if you have seen that kind of body movement, it has a way of exposing your subjects into discussions on their own mandate. And when you are withdrawing, if the withdrawal reduces to personal interests, it may not, the people may not follow you again. You just have to check. When did you lose it? When did you open them up to this thing? That's so sometimes it is the governor on the other side, but I can tell you that I am somebody who I respect loyalty. I respect for. But of course, if you also know that your guy is falling into a pit, you don't want him to fall into a pit. You say, okay, let's get this thing done, because that's the mistake we made in Rivers State. The mistake some of us who are traditional APC members made was when our own principal, fell out with the center, and was going. We would have reduced to say, okay, no, now let's do this APC, and because at this very short period we can't renegotiate our people. Let's follow this man through and let him be the one to disappoint us. But we didn't even win here. We didn't. Some of us who said no, yes, but events that happened thereafter has vindicated us. But you see, we didn't now have the man at the top to negotiate us. That's the problem. When you have children, there are certain decisions. For instance, God forbid that I'm a single father. If I was a single father and I have 4 children that I do have now, and I wanted to marry another place, you see, my interest will no longer be on my personal interest. I'll have to accommodate these children to know. So if you are making any political move, you have to be careful with their followers to see how they can be accommodated. But if you say, oh, let me be, so when I be, I can now, no, it doesn't work like that.
Right,
yeah.
Because they're also looking for political survival.
Survival too.
All right, very well. Moving forward, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has filed a 1 billion naira fundamental rights enforcement suit against the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and other authorities over the alleged unlawful invasion and search of his Abuja residence. The suit filed before the Federal High Court challenges the validity of the search warrant used by security operatives during the operation. Through his legal team led by Oluwole Iyamu, SAN, El-Rufai argued that the warrant issued by a chief magistrate of the FCT was defective, vague, and lacked probable cause, therefore violating his constitutional rights to dignity, personal liberty, fair hearing, and privacy. He also asked the court to declare any evidence obtained during the search inadmissible in subsequent investigations or prosecutions. The former governor is seeking an injunction restraining security agencies from relying on items seized during the operation and demanding their immediate return. He further requested 1 billion naira in general, exemplary, and aggravated damages, citing psychological distress, reputational harm, and unlawful trespass allegedly resulting from the search conducted by ICPC and police operatives. Chiz, your take on this matter?
You know, there are so many issues joined together in this.
Yes.
So many issues. Number one is, what is the status of ICPC? Independent Corrupt Practices Commission. Isn't it? That means by their status, they already have that investigative right into anybody they suspect
to be corrupt.
So, firstly, I may not be speaking professionally to say that whether they do need warrant. They already have warrants. If they want to go to search, they already have warrants to go and search, because that is probably why they are there. To go and search into certain things, allegations, or what they suspect. Now, if they go there and get those things, it is incumbent on you to now go to court to defend those things.
He's saying that one of his prayers is that
they shouldn't use that.
should render those evidences. He said evidences inadmissible. So what could harboring in his house?
That's what I'm saying.
That he's scared that he called an evidence that will be admissible in court.
That's the question. That's what I'm saying. That you are asking a legitimate body.
And by the way, they are saying that the search warrant, they did get a search warrant.
They got a search warrant.
But they say it is defective. It is vague.
Now, assuming, okay, let's not assuming or not conceding that the search warrant is vague, because we're just hearing from El-Rufai, and that they went to your house and found what they call evidence that you have accepted as evidence, and you're asking the court not to. So what you're saying is that, assuming that somebody stops, there's a stop and search, somebody stops El-Rufai or whoever and gets an incriminating things with the person, you are not saying that because they didn't get the search warrant, that thing shouldn't be incriminated again. That's the thing. He has admitted that there is evidence. So he should go to court.
Certain things were seized from his house. He has fear that those things are incriminating.
And so you have fear that those things are incriminating. You're asking that that the court, that the process was not met. So if the process was not met, but the offense is real, the offense now you cannot no longer be charged to court because of the offense. To be honest with you, I think that this ICPC, there was just last week where a high court, ICPC brought somebody for a seizure of about 900 and something million naira and all of that. And the court said they didn't meet process. And what was that? There is no money that's in account that is not in the name of somebody. Who is the person that had that money that you want to be forfeited to? As technical as that. So I think the ICPC should also be careful in what they do. But that El-Rufai should come out and tell us that those evidence they had was not evidence enough. Because if you come to my house and you see television, and of course the receipt of the television say that the television was stolen, it's an evidence. Now that I came to your house and invaded, see, even the FBI is invade people's home.
But in this instance, ICPC got a search warrant. They are not denying that a search warrant was not gotten. They are actually questioning the validity of that search warrant by saying that it is defective, it is vague. Now, it is now at the discretion of the court to determine what vague
Thank you. They are not saying the
determine what defective is. They are not saying the search warrant is not valid.
They are saying
the search warrant is valid. However, in order to discredit the items gotten, you understand, from that particular search, they need to find an issue with the search warrant. So probably to discredit whatever evidence has been gotten on the ground of technicalities in the search warrant.
Yes, see, what El-Rufai is saying, to all of us, is the search warrant should state, go and search El-Rufai whether he's putting on white or not, other than saying you have been given a right to search El-Rufai's document, to search El-Rufai's house. That's vague. that is not particular to any item. So the item they took, maybe if he knew the ones that were coming, he would have hidden them. So the one they took, let me tell you, if they come to search, if security officers have a search warrant to search your residence, and they come there and see money stacked, that's also evidence. If they go there and see ammunitions that are not legal, that's evidence. They cannot go there and close their eyes on illegal things that is in your house. So how come those things find themselves in your house that a search warrant must notice before they can search it? So look at that. And it looks like the hunter is that hunted. That's just it. That's what El-Rufai is telling us. El-Rufai has now turned to an angel that's not telling us something, that they went to your house and found things. If you are said here, they house, scattered the entire fleet and found nothing, they should come and pay me. That's another body. But they found things, and you're not saying no, it's fake. They should not come and tell you the list of what they needed to search use, or they should even write here later and tell you, El-Rufai, we're coming to your house to search for cops, so remove all the cops. What's that? Well, look at that. Let's see how the court will pan out. And I don't even know. That's why I say that our security agencies are not biting enough. If you find evidence that are incriminating, then take the man and arrest him and put him inside behind. Let him go from court to the police. Is it about? See, until we begin to not treat certain persons as sacred cow. I love El-Rufai for his brilliant, not intelligent. Because before I thought he was intelligent. I love him for his brilliant. He speaks fine, because that's what we think. But I begin to know that he's not intelligent. If he's intelligent, there are certain things you can't be shouting. This is a man who said he wrote National Security Advisor or something. This is a man who says he's that.
So while you're calling out the National Security Advisor, there are certain incriminating from
yes,
from what he's saying.
Of course,
there are certain incriminating
in your house,
in his house. So, which means, and not just that, also admitted on national television that he wiretapped the.
So this is
now that means that is a pointer to a large-scale conspiracy, and wiretapping the NSA could be seen as an act of terrorism.
Of course.
Probably he has not thought it through before he made that statement.
That's the problem.
How do you wiretap? Wiretapping the NSA is wiretapping the entire Nigerian security network. On what ground? Like the
as in he's the president. So, as in he's investigating.
So now that and the interesting thing, Chizzy, is that ADC is not saying anything with regards to El-Rufai's matter. Atiku Abubakar, that is always very quick to criticize the government, is silent on this. I've not heard P2B say anything with regards to El-Rufai. I've not heard the Northern oligarchy say anything with regards to El-Rufai. I mean, the Northern political class are all silent. And that's, I'm very curious as to why that is.
No, because you see, let me tell you something. You see, there are certain mistakes you don't make while fighting. If you want, when you want to fight, don't throw stone in the glass house. You also have to be clean. You have to look at yourself and know that there is nothing incriminating around you. I was writing during we were writing WAEC. In those days, there was this my chemistry teacher. This man he feels he's quote-unquote God. This man came and flogged me, and I went and reported him to the school. When I reported him to the school, including my father, as at then my father was the PTA chairman of the school, including my father says, hey, you are in trouble. And the fear of my father was, you are going to write WAEC. And this man is there as the vice of the school. And he was the chairman of the chairman of the examination there. I said, you are in trouble. And I told my father, what will be my trouble? I am sure that I will write, he's not going to mark my result. I'm sure I'm going to write exam and pass. So the only thing he will do to me is to keep me where I won't do anything. And let him monitor me. So I went there, I wrote my work and passed. It is only when you are not sure of yourself that you begin to shout. So I can't go there and begin to do that if I know that I will need to depend on him for anything. So El-Rufai is doing this. They want to use as a fun incriminating film. Let me tell you how, according to what he has said,
his prayers in court, that whatever they found should not be used as evidence.
So what is it for the court? What should be used as evidence? What should be admissible as evidence?
The question will be, what is El-Rufai scared of at this point?
He knows. El-Rufai knows that he has a lot of rotten secret. El-Rufai knows now. The only problem with what El-Rufai is, like you just mentioned, the Northern oligarchy, the articles, the OBs, he's believing that if you just do anything, they will speak up for you.
And put pressure on the government.
Those people also are intelligent. They understand what you are saying. They understand that
if they speak out for you, means that they are part of the conspiracy. That tapped the phone of the NSC. Very serious one. Thank you so much, CZ, for coming in. It's a pleasure having you. And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advertisements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Infastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.
The board, management, and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2026 Anniversary Celebration Lecture of Morrison Media Group. Theme: Media's role in shaping social change, addressing inequities, and empowering voices. Chairman Alex Ndudi Enebele, FSM. President, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Chartered. Keynote speaker, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, Professor of Media and Broadcasting Communication. Panelist, Professor Chris Ochonogo, Immediate Past Head of Department, Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary, NUJ, River State. Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt. Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date, Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time, 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofadi, 081-063-41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090-454-00744. Signed, Management.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains.